Heard some School Drugs there with Validation. You're listening to the punk rock demonstration. I'm Jack. Figured I'd start off our show today with School Drugs because school has started. I remember when I was going to school started after Labor Day. Then shortly after I graduated high school, they changed it to the week before Labor Day. So that way you get school, and then Labor Day is the first holiday you get, and then back to school again. But now they start school in early August for some who knows what reason. Don't know, don't really care because I don't go to school anymore, so useless information, but it is back to school. And you're listening to the punk rock demonstration. As I said, my website is punkrockdemo.com. Again, that's punkrockdemo.com. We're here every Monday from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. If you missed that show, you can tune in again on Tuesday at 7 a.m. Pacific time. That's the same show. I've updated the website with some news. The latest news is that I've stopped sending out playlists to all of the email addresses I've got on file because I use Yahoo email, and they've changed their interface to make it so if you don't use AI or something like that, it's almost impossible to find old emails. And they've limited it down to 25 gigs, and I had so much email that I had to delete a significant amount of emails, so I could no longer find the old emails, and it's very difficult to find people's emails now that they're gone. So no longer will I be sending out playlists, but I'll be still publishing them on the website and most likely on the Facebook as well, although that platform is erroring like MySpace, and half the time I can't seem to get it to work. It always says an error has occurred, try again later, and I keep trying, and eventually it'll work, but not for long. Anyways, you're still listening to the punk rock demonstration. We play lots of punk rock, and I'm going to continue with the punk rock instead of talking about this technical mumbo jumbo. Let's continue with some CPA. This song's called Null Chamber.
Take a vacation and travel through my brain. You'll find your stay here to be pleasantly insane. There's no synapses fire, no chemical release, no rattling emotions, no temper and no peace. You'll find nostalgia in a world of vacancy and apprehensiveness and fake complacency. But you are welcome to the finite emptiness. Make yourself at home, my friend. Share my gloomy bliss. So if you don't care anymore, and you've forgotten what you ceased your concern for, welcome to the void that you will find within my mind, within my mind. The absence of desire, the absence of disdain, indolently innocent and decadently vain. There is no challenge to nullify thinking. It's cognizance of fire and consciousness sinking. So if you don't care anymore, and you've forgotten what you ceased your concern for, welcome to the void that you will find within my mind, within my mind. We've got something against you. 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 We'll prove you wrong. You sought the empathy moonrise. You sought the empathy moonrise. You led us straight into a lake of bullshit. Fucking bullshit, that's why. We've got something against you. We've got something against you. We've got something against you. We've got something against you.
change, not something that you should fear. Everybody's got a pocket full, and that's what got you here. Death, another five-letter word. Who knows where you go? Just better hope you're good. Finally you collapse, finding out firsthand. So what will you ever understand? Read it with a smile, headed for the light. Guess what? Everything that you heard was right. Friends, if you're lucky, might have a few. I think that I've got one, 'cause they come and go like the flu today. I woke up feeling right, but that all could change, and change is good, ain't that right? Finally you collapse, finding out firsthand. So what will you ever understand? Read it with a smile, I headed for the light. Guess what? Everything that you heard was right. So much time on things you cannot change. So what? So your life gets rearranged. Headed for the last, leaving when we finally crash. This day is slowly going to pass. Slowly gonna pass. Slowly gonna pass. Slowly gonna pass.
of time, out of mind. Bleed to know you're alive. Same old look in those eyes. Out of place, out of time, out of our lives. Open up my eyes and you're the one that got away. In the crimson sky, can't turn my back. Oh, I never got to say. Give me one more reason why. Open up my eyes and you're the one that got away. In the crimson sky, can't turn my back. Oh, I never got to say. Give me one more reason why. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you.
I see your demonic eyes, see through your little lies. You try to make me insecure when you try to tell me, no, your eyes are for me. When you try to tell me, we all need a partner in crime in these dangerous times. You try to put me away in a place where I will say, but I'm gonna say. I see your evil agenda. You see I won't surrender. I'm not your puppet on a string. When you try to pull me and you try to push me, when you try to do me and you try to screw me, let me tell ya, I'm not that kind of fella. Let me tell ya, I'm not that kind of fella.
Heard the Addicts there with I'm Not Scared of You, and some Shell Shock Lullaby with Crimson Sky, Firecracker 500 with Change before Shell Shock Lullaby, and some Grizzly Adams Band with Waste Another Day, and Thulsa Doom with Raining Bullshit. Finally got around to changing my motorcycle chain and sprocket. I've been needing to change it for months, and I finally got around to changing it last week. Ever since I've changed it, huge difference, and now I actually trust going on the freeway with it, so I went on the freeway for quite a while over the weekend, and yeah, was out from morning until the next day morning. Came back home at like 4 o'clock in the morning, went on the freeway at 3 o'clock, nice and freezing, but it was a great experience because it was nice and hot, but the wind was freezing. It's great. Glad I got that sorted out and out of the way. I can continue fiddling with that thing at interesting hours of the evening. With that more useless information, let's continue with some more punk rock with Sniper 66. This song's called All Dressed Up.
In the city, you see this
I drink so much that I fall down. Got a skinny, did I hit the ground? I've been waking up. Spilt more liquor than money you made in this town.
pay bills you'll never make, and twice as much as you can take. When will it all end? Even Easy Street has its tolls, and tells you that won't stay untold. And if you think life will forget, you ain't been around the block yet. No, you just couldn't see the forest for the trees when it all comes crashing down through the lights, through the smoke. Say the last dance for me after the creeps, the dirty sheets, the drunken fantasies. The grass ain't greener, needles ain't no cleaner. Y'all say the hard way, darling, say the last dance for me. All the looks you get, they're wanting nice, their dollar bills. The music plays and their drinks spill like fuel on a fire. Redemption is a beaten path, and only those that want it last. You find the finer things in life won't be enough to pay your flight. No, you just had to blaze your own fucked up trail when it all comes crashing down through the lights, through the smoke. Say the last dance for me after the creeps, the dirty sheets, the drunken fantasies. The grass ain't greener, needles ain't no cleaner. You'll see the hard way, darling, save the last dance for me, for me, for me, for me. Go! No, you just couldn't see the forest for the trees when it all comes crashing down through the lights, through the smoke. Say the last dance for me after the creeps, the dirty sheets, the drunken fantasies. The grass ain't greener, needles ain't no cleaner. You'll see the hard way, darling, save the last dance for me, for me, for me, for me. Go!
Heard Reno Divorce there with Last Dance, and some Less Hate Pinks with Razor Rock. Songs for Snakes before Less Hate Pinks with Painted Lawn, and some Wee Beasties with It's Happening Tonight. As I mentioned before, you can find all the playlists for all these shows by going to punkrockdemo.com. I'll no longer be sending emails out with the playlists. So if you're one of those that have subscribed to the email playlists, you won't be getting those starting this week. Let's continue with some more punk rock with Joey Briggs. This song's called 37 Cents.
Dearest President, I've got something to say about how you're running this country into the ground. So I'll mail this letter to your pretty White House, although I know it will never be found. Between your campaign and golfing in your war, I know you won't get back to me, but at least I'll know deep inside my heart told you that I strongly disagree. Where do we go from here? I'm just trying to speak what's left on my mind. Where do we go from here? I'm just trying to keep what's left on my mind. Among all the letters that I ever sent, this was the worst 37 cents I ever spent. Fear is your best defense against these peeping eyes. Instilled with an absence of honor. Not a fire rebellion when you hit it where it hurts. The safety of our children and our homes. But don't get me wrong, I love this country that I'm from. It'll always be home to me. It's just my discontent for the powers that be, who make our families feel a lack of security. Where do we go from here? I'm just trying to speak what's left on my mind. Where do we go from here? I'm just trying to keep what's left on my mind. Among all the letters that I ever sent, this was the worst 37 cents I ever spent.
give in. Don't wanna deal with you any longer. You turn it out to shit. Next time you're mine, don't even fucking try. I've had enough of your excuses. Pick up your filthy life. That's it, shit me. Don't let you miss the boat now. That's it, shit me. It's time for you to go. That's it, shit me. You better hit the road now. That's it. No more, I saw no knocking on my door. You had it coming for a while now. I can't get near that car. It's done, you're gone. This lasted way too long. You had your chance and blew a big time. Time to carry on. Nothing, shit me. Don't let you miss the boat now. Nothing, shit me. It's time for you to go. Nothing, shit me. You better hit the road now. Nothing. time to come and no more books to read or to study from. 8 o'clock rings isn't off to work, I think I'll stay in bed. Looking around, people to see, no one left here except you and me. Got the time, done the sentence, I want those AJs. Staring at me, staring at me, staring at me, staring at me. Heroin on the streets, black eye socket looking at me. Drawn that voice and you need a connection. I want those AJs, I want those AJs, I want those AJs. Staring at me, staring at me, staring at me, staring at me. Heroin on the street, black eye socket looking at me. Drawn eye voice and you need a connection. I want those AJs. Staring at me, staring at me, staring at me, staring at me.
Haven't played that song by the GAC in a while. That was H.I.'s, one of my favorites by the GAC. And then some Psycho Punch before the GAC. That song's called Dying on My Own. Billy Club with Death Row Dogs. And Restarts before Billy Club with Turned It All to Shit. And some Destructive Fucks with Fuck Reality. Let's continue with some more punk rock with some more school-themed songs. Let's continue with some High School Hell by Radiator Rattlers.
Get me out of high school hell. I can't think, my head
Somebody's coming and they're topless on the beach. Gonna find myself a peach. I tell you, somebody's here. Wipe away the silly tear. Scar is back and England's won. Time to have some fun.
Smoking
That was Pizza Tramp there with Skeletons, and some Booze and Glory with Till the Last Breath. Gonads with Long Ska Summer before Booze and Glory. I gotta come up with some questions for some interview that I want to do with Booze and Glory. If you've got any questions for Booze and Glory, let me know so that way I can write it down and have them answer the questions. Before Gonads, we heard Broken Yokes. That song's called Danger Close. Now I've got a pile of new songs that you've never heard of before, and a couple compilations from a couple labels. Let's start off this new music with this band that I can't quite pronounce, Thielen, I think, with a song I definitely can't pronounce. This song's called Brotstraub.
I'm at the phone booth, it's the one across the hall. If you don't answer, I'll just ring it off the wall. I know he's there, but I just had to call. Don't leave me hanging on the telephone. Don't leave me hanging on the telephone. I heard your mother, now she's going out the door. Did she go to work or just go to the store? All these things she said, I told you to ignore.
had 5 songs in that segment of music, and 4 of them came from this free Rumbar Records Summer School Sampler 2025. I believe you can just go to the Bandcamp and search for Rumbar Records and find this Summer Sampler 2025. I ended off that segment with Brad Marino. That song's called Hamburger U. Duck and Cover with Bored in the City before Brad Marino, and some Inflatable Idols with Make Some Noise, Quiet as It's Kept, and some Christina Jean and her All-Stars. That song's called Hanging on the Telephone. Haven't done that in a very long time. I remember back in the day when I was in school, I used to talk on the phone for hours. Now I don't even think people talk on the phone. They just text or instant message or email or whatever. Maybe do, Snapchat or whatever nonsense that I'm not a fan of. Anyways, let's continue with some more new punk rock here in the punk rock demonstration before I get in trouble. Let's continue with some Nito. The song's called Ska Dog.
Realizing now that you were never meant for me. Time and time time you're taking a hit to the face, the stomach, or any fucking where. No more bruises, no more fear. And your hands are shaking, trying to pack this bag. And you gotta get going and escape this trap. What's it gonna take for you to feel safe? What's it gonna take for you to get away? What's it gonna take for you to feel safe? Wipe that fucking smoke right off his face. What's it gonna take for you to feel safe? What's it gonna take for you to get away? What's it gonna take for you to feel safe? Wipe that fucking smoke right off his face.
So there's another bunch of songs from another compilation. That was 3 songs from the Damnation's Damn It Records deal, August 2025, the first edition of it. And that song you just heard was by Julie's Dead. That song's called Safe. Maxine Pups with Moped. And the last of that Damnation's Damn It Records 2025 was Muffrey and the My Fanwees. That song's called Regolith. And I've got one more segment of new punk rock that I've got on this playlist here before I end off the show. And you can send over songs if you're a band by going to punkrockdemo.com. Let's continue with this next band, the Peppermint Kicks. This song's called Too Sweet. Oh yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Too sweet, oh yeah, honey, honey, alright. Too sweet, oh yeah, candy girl, tonight. A taste of sugar at the candy shop, so much sweeter than a soda pop. My head's dizzy like a spinning top. Too sweet, oh yeah, too sweet, oh yeah, honey, honey, alright. Come on, don't wait, hurry, hurry, tonight. Excitation's on my tongue, pop rocks in my chewing gum. Cherry flavor, say yum yum. Too sweet, oh yeah, too sweet, oh yeah. Montana and tangerine root, more shady, more food for you. Hurry, 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 my Bellamy. Oh, yeah, too sweet. Ice cream cone, she's kiss, big wax lips and a licking stick, lemon drops and peppermint kicks. Too sweet, oh yeah, too sweet, oh yeah, too sweet, oh yeah, too sweet, oh yeah, too sweet, oh yeah.
This is the Sexy Sister Boys. You rock and roll sexy.
Vulgar mouth,
vulgar mood, vulgar way I talk to you. Not on par, not on time. Lose the thoughts out of my mind. Lost my keys, smoked my health. Always fuck it up myself. Can't relax and can't commit. Self-prescribing drug habits. I don't wanna listen, just listen to me. I'm not taking myself seriously. Why won't you fucking listen, just listen to me. Need you to take me seriously. Rude bitch. I'm a rude bitch. I'm a rude bitch. Give you attitude until you through, bitch. Rude bitch. I'm a rude bitch. I'm a rude bitch. Give you attitude until you through, bitch. Chew you up, spit you out. Don't know what I'm on about. Not your friend and not your foe. Hit you with the lowest blow. I don't wanna listen, just listen to me. I'm not taking myself seriously. Why won't you fucking listen, just listen to me. I need you to take me seriously. Rude bitch. I'm a rude bitch. I'm a rude bitch. Give you attitude until you through, bitch. Rude bitch. I'm a rude bitch. I'm a
shows know the simple truth is missing. I think your revolution is just a sideshow, hoping to be on the cover of Vogue. Give me a reason, something I can understand. If you're gonna be a rebel, then you gotta have a plan. Get a grip! Get a grip! Want a new deal, but you're stuck in yesterday. Your vision of reality is so out of phase. Where's the big finish? I need results. Don't be throwing jabby juvenile insults. Why don't you find someone just like you? Start your own cult, make mountain food. If you got a problem, then go to the source. Cause I ain't the one to alter the course. Get a grip! Get a grip! Life is hard, everybody's got it tough. Sometimes your best just ain't good enough. Don't run and hide. Face the music, don't let it slide. Get a grip! Get a grip! Get a grip! Get a grip! Fire in your eyes is long, long gone. You don't even know where you belong. Trying to be the center of a future fight. Whatever your position, you know it ain't right. Action speaks much louder than words. As far as I'm concerned, you embrace the absurd. You rail against the ghost machine. Your clueless attacks make me wanna scream. Get a grip! Get a grip! Get a grip! Get a grip! Get a grip!
Market metal. Market metal. Playing rock and roll under the stars. Playing rock and roll in the downtown bars. Market metal. Market metal. Playing rock and roll, kicking some ass. Playing rock and roll with a lot of pizzazz. Market metal. Market metal. Giving it all you got, living the dream. Giving it all you got, rocking the scene. Market metal. Market metal. Playing rock and roll under the stars. Playing rock and roll in the downtown bars. Market metal. Market metal. Playing rock and roll, kicking some ass. Playing rock and roll with a lot of pizzazz. Market metal. Market metal. Giving it all you got, living the dream. Giving it all you got, rocking the scene. Market metal. Market metal.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking, I ripping a heart. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. This land was made. This land was stolen by you and me. Stolen. Stolen.
That was the J. Simon Ritchie Band with This Land Redux. Jimmy Slavinsky Band was before the J. Simon Ritchie Band. That song's called Marquette Metal. Zoo Room with Get a Grip before Jimmy Slavinsky Band. And some TTT Turbo with Modern Sound before Zoo Room, and Lady Lazarus with Rude. And you've been listening to the punk rock demonstration. About to fall asleep over here. I'm exhausted from too many weekend activities, so I'm going to take a nap right after this. But I'll end off the show with Anastasis. That song's called Father Moon. I played one of their tracks last week, but this particular track they sent over was too low of a quality to play, so they sent over a higher quality version, and now I'm playing this higher quality version of the second song they sent over. So we'll end off the show with that. You've been listening to the punk rock demonstration. I'll be back again next week and every week on Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time over at punkrockdemo.com. And the show will repeat on Tuesdays from 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'll talk to you all next week. Thanks for listening.
Darkest wide, looking at the universe, infinity breaks my mind. Chains of ancient stories
damn toilet pit. Another day, same shit to do. Another day and nothing new. Nothing gains all the same. Another day in paradise. Killing's on killing, but another day in paradise. Another day sent off your life, another day of grief and strife. Another day I've got the advice, I've got a way to save my mind.
straighten your identity. That's no easy right. It tortures your mind. You don't get it straight.